What was the dumbest rumor spread about you? That I was dead. Was late getting back to uni, so my buddies decided it'd be funny to tell people I'd been killed in Europe. The story started with killed in an accident and blossomed to got a girl pregnant. Wouldn't marry her. Decided to marry her. Killed in an accident. One girl I knew actually believed it and cried when we bumped into each other. Had no idea she cared. Well, that ending proves that we sometimes take some people for granted. That my parents were drug dealers, and they involved me in selling drugs at my elementary school. What actually happened was that I gave my friends $1 each from my lunch money so we could all buy cookies. Somehow the rumor spread all the way to the principal, so he dragged me to his office and lectured me about not giving my money away in front of other people. Could have been worse. The principal could have dragged you into his office to hook a brother up. I was once sick for an entire week of 9th grade. Somehow it spread that I went to Hawaii. Even a teacher made a comment. I have no idea how the frick that started, and nobody would tell me why they thought it, because they thought I was just being cheeky by denying it. Who in their right mind would deny going to Hawaii? That doesn't make much sense. I moved from Scotland to England at like 13. I had a thick accent and I got a lot of crap for it, so almost subconsciously I slowly started to like fake an English accent. Was really stupid as I'd flip back to Scottish as soon as I got home. After I left school I dropped the accent, but by that time the majority of people I knew in the small town I was in had met me as English spliff wizard, so when I'd see people they'd be like, WTF happened to you? Why are you suddenly Scottish? I used to just make crap up like I had a voice transplant and this is all they had, but eventually it stopped. Roll on a few years and I'm back in town having a drink with some mates. I get talking to two guys and when I mention my name one is like, oh crap, you're that guy who pretends to be Scottish, and so now apparently there's a fable around the town of some English kid who one day was just like, frick this, I'm Scottish now. And the kid is me. Class. I had a voice transplant and this is all they had, ha ha ha. This was spread by an adult in a volunteer organization I was part of. Me. Happily married, running for a leadership position. Her. Many years married to someone running for one of the other positions. Apparently she didn't want me on the leadership team because she told people I had the hots for her husband, who was, bless his heart, a nice guy, but homely. I respected what he'd done to achieve leadership in the organization, but could not have been more uninterested in that aspect of him if he had been a cow patty. I didn't know anything about this until after I lost the election. She also started a rumor about two other adults who were friendly, but not doing anything untoward. Unfortunately, the wife of the man believed that rumor and it totally ruined a number of relationships and events because she wouldn't permit them to attend the same meeting or event. I never understood what motivated that person to spread those types of rumors. For power. The night before election day, someone spread hundreds of flyers in our small town that the opposing candidate was a child molester on the FBI watch list. Not a word of it was true, but he lost the election anyway. When I was 21 and in college, I worked with a boy who was a senior in high school. His girlfriend broke up with him about 2 weeks before prom for another guy. I offered to go with him. The girl was dumped by her new boyfriend a few days before prom and wanted my co-worker to take her to prom, but he said no, as he was going with an older woman. At prom, I was quite the topic of conversation. This girl had come by our store when I was working, and she and her friend told everyone I was a BTCH who had multiple children with multiple baby daddies. I don't even go here. Anyway, prom was nice, dinner before was great, and after the dance I went home, alone, and had many illegal drinks in my child-free house. When I was in grade 1, some girls thought it would be funny to tell everyone I had boy private parts, which upset me greatly. I don't remember this, but my mother has told me that during an assembly I was talking with the people around me and it was brought up and I felt the need to stand up and pull down my pants and undies in front of everyone. I cringe every time I think about it. This anecdote needs its own subreddit. In middle school, some sub that no one knew that looked like a narc pulled me from class because of a family issue. Walked me out of the school to my mom. Somehow this turned into the sub being a cop, and it being a cop car, and I was in trouble for something. One rumor a few weeks later was that I had gotten in trouble for bringing tons of huge guns to school or something. I was like, guys, I'm still at school. I told you what happened. Kids are ruthless in middle school. I only escaped that by having no friends. It wasn't mine, but my friend is allergic to peanuts and someone started a rumor that he was lying. So, someone waved a peanut butter sandwich in front of him. That started an allergic reaction. We were in 5th grade. In 5th grade, these two girls that hate me once told the class that I cheat on tests by looking at other people's answers. My classmates avoided me for months because of that. In India we cheat and brag about it. That I was gay. I like girls, but you never see me with one because girls don't like me. Honestly, you don't see me with guys either. I love how if you don't get laid by 12 you're gay. In middle school someone started a rumor that I was a voodoo priestess. Stereotypical Hollywood voodoo, nothing like the real thing. I'm white and live in Canada. People believed it. They'd shriek and run when they saw me. At the end of 1 year a girl who had been nothing but awful to me asked if she could sign my yearbook and her signature was basically her pleading with me not to curse her. Even in my first year of high school I had a few people who didn't go to my middle school walk up and ask me if it was true that I did voodoo. Thankfully it died down after that. A co-worker told several people I was having an affair with our boss. To add to it, she said I was the one who told her about it. I'm a woman. My boss was a gay man. No, we were not having an affair. I grew up in a strictly religious community of 40k. In high school, I was the open-minded intellectual, or as they like to call me, the troublemaker. I'd been suspended a couple of times before for breaching the hair and dress standards and once more for general smartassery. So one day I get called into the principal's office. No biggie, except when I got there they stuck me in a hard library chair, and, I kid not, shined a desk lamp right in my face. Guy silhouetted behind the light says he is a detective from Pastor Tezelottsville PD and that they know. I says, all confused like, you knows what now? He gave me a 60s TV show Third Degree for 2 hours because somebody had told somebody who told somebody that they got a super creased up Playboy centerfold from me. I didn't break. Turns out some sporty sucker with my same last name. No relation. Done the deed and the spread the evil of uncovered boobies into this holy land. Oops, my bad for being the usual suspect. Sounds like a religious cult NGL. It's kinda a two-fair. My ex was spreading rumors my new girlfriend was pregnant by someone else, while my girlfriend now wife was dating a girl. Then the rumors grew to me only dating her so the kid would have a dad. Then once we got engaged it spread to we were only getting married to save her the disgrace of having a baby out of wedlock. Here's me favorite part, the timeline. We dated for 11 months until got engaged. We were engaged for like 14 months. We had our first kid at almost 3 years of marriage. So that's quite the gestational period she had. And the kid looks a lot like me so that's suspicious for him to be someone else's. Now you two were just masters of the long con. That I told my entire preschool class that Santa wasn't real. It was actually a different kid with the same first name as me, and I hadn't even been there when it happened. So I learned the truth about Claus from my enraged and screaming mother calling me a liar. I am now 32 and I still hate Christmas. This reminds me of when I took my sister to build a bear and the shop assistant mentioned something about Santa's gift coming early this year and my sister blurted out but Santa isn't real with a stone cold serious face. One was that I laid eggs. Another was that I had 14 abortions in 6 months. Unfortunately, both around the same time period. Yikes. Anytime I made a male friend a rumor would spread that I was madly in love with them. I never did, and never had romantic feelings for anyone regardless of gender. I honestly thought of them as friends. But because of kids doing that stupid crap it caused them to be self-conscious and they'd end up insulting me or whatever and stop being friends with me. Even as an adult now some of my female friends joke around that I would hold interest for one of their male friends if we end up having long discussions, usually about TV series, games or whatever, and immediately their male friends get defensive about it. If I say anything I'm seen as lying. If I don't it's like I'm confirming it. I just roll my eyes till they get over their own crap. Honestly people who do this need to get their heads smacked. It really fricks with a lot of people and gives the whole idea that men can't be friends with women and women can't be friends with men without some kind of romantic feelings being involved. Sometimes a friend is just a goddamn friend. Bro, the exact same crap would happen to me, except the guys didn't feel bad about it. Started in elementary. Some weird kid in middle school even made an Instagram dedicated to shipping various kids in our class with one another. Guess who was in it? That I had mad computer skills because I was browsing Reddit at work. None of my co-workers had ever seen a website that was just text with some thumbnails instead of blinking ads covering 80% of the page. That I raped a girl at school. At the time there was drama going around that someone in my group of friends had raped this girl who was a friend of mine. Later we found out the guy our entire group hated, we'll call him Jake, actually did it and was suspended and arrested. But before that, the school was trying to figure out what happened and Jake told the admins that I did it and they questioned me but couldn't pin it to me. I was the mediator of the group, so if there was an argument I was usually the middle ground, so basically everyone in our group knew it wasn't me, which kinda saved my butt. But because of that we name dropped Jake to the admins and they ended up penning it to him because the girl eventually gave a description of the guy who did it and it was Jake. LOL, imagine raping a girl and blaming it on someone and not expect being caught. That a platonic male friend and I were dating because we studied in the same part of the college library every night Sunday through Thursday. It was just the part with the most comfortable chairs. Yeah, but in anime if people study together they wanna bone! 1111. That my boyfriend rapped me or pressured me. We haven't even had sex yet, we were both virgins and wanted to wait. We lived in a small town of 800, so word spread fast. And a woman wanted me to press charges against him because though he was older than me, I was actually older than him. It was stupid but thankfully it stopped after a month. There must have been some sick lyrics that he rapped to cause such a reaction around town. I used to be an appliance contractor and a friend would come and haul scrap out of my van to take to the scrap yard, so I didn't have to. Neighborhood thought I was a rage dealer and the appliance thing was just a front. That I was a lesbian. Growing up a guy was convinced I was a lesbian. I just didn't fancy him. I didn't bother correcting him either. He told everyone I was, but you know what, who cares? It didn't bother me and definitely didn't affect my love life. Got hit on by a few women but I was flattered. Back when Five Nights at Freddy's was popular, I was in middle school working on a computer. I wanted a cool desktop background of one of the characters, so I searched it up on Bing Images, which was the default search engine on our school network. Bing had a tab between the search bar and the images where it says other people searched for, and lists a bunch of other popular terms. Well, it just so happened that a lot of people were searching up FNAF on Bing. A classmate saw the search term, and I became the kid who searched up FNAF Rule 34 on the school computers. Frick you Bing. Back when Five Nights at Freddy's was popular, I was in middle school. Dear God, I shouldn't be feeling this old before I've reached my 30s. There was a widely held belief among the underclassmen in my fraternity that sometime in the murky past, I had thrown a chair in anger during the course of one of our meetings. I had never thrown a chair, and haven't to this day. I threw a beefy 5-layer once. When I was pregnant with my youngest, I was looking for baby stuff straight away. I was looking to buy a babawering sling and I spoke to this local woman who was much older than me. I was 23, and she befriended me and added me to her babawering group as I was wanting to babyware. Everything was fine until I told her how far along I was, like 6 weeks, and then she deleted me and I was removed from the group. I was very confused. Turns out she thought I was faking my pregnancy because apparently if I was only 6 weeks along I wouldn't be buying baby stuff. She told the admin of the group to delete me. She told some other people in town I was faking and someone told me. I was quite upset, but everyone knew it was crap when they saw my belly and then saw my baby after I had her. After I had her I sold my babawering sling and the woman who bought it was in the original group. I told her my story and she was horrified and talked to the admin who apologized to me and invited me back to the group. I accepted her apology but declined the offer of being in the group. I still see the woman who started the rumor every so often with my clearly not fake child with me. I bet she feels like an absolute moron whenever she sees you, assuming she recognizes you. What a punkus. The funniest was in high school. My classmates thought that I could blow things up with my brain. To this day I wish that were true. The worst was also in high school. I had a teacher, one I liked and trusted, stage an intervention because the rumor was that I was a lesbian. A rumor since junior high and something I never confirmed or denied, and that I was abusing my girlfriend, a friend and nothing more. To this day, the idea that this teacher I liked and respected could believe such a thing still bothers me. Her delivery was very much "you need to stop this" as opposed to "let's talk." It sounds like the budget version of "I am not okay with this" TV series made by Netflix. That I was kidnapped and being held in my boyfriend's basement while he drugged and starved me. The police showed up to check on me after that particular rumor spread. That I gave my boyfriend a handy on the bus. I very much did not. I hadn't even seen a dong at that point in my life. It was so outrageous that the people who tried to spread it became the butt of the joke for spreading something that literally nobody would believe. I don't know how true the entire situation is, but here we go. My last job was a very comfortable environment and we were kind of a family. I make friends pretty easily and get close to people naturally and don't really care who I make friends with as long as they're good people. One of my co-workers and I were good friends and he gave me rides home occasionally when he was around. It was a huge help instead of taking the bus during the cold dark. I got home way earlier and we talked about things on the way home and related to each other. He started to get pushy about coming over to my place and I was kind of not about it because he was in a relationship and had kids with her. I shut it down and he eventually left the job. We stopped talking. No big. After I left the job, one of the people I kept in touch with told me that a rumor was going around that I had slept with said former friend. I found this pretty hilarious since I didn't find him attractive in any way. Truly, I thought he was like a brother more than anything. The twist to the whole story here is the person who started the rumor and got fired for some serious reasons was sleeping with my former friend. The whole rumor was designed to keep the pressure off of her. So not only was I being talked about after I wasn't there anymore, I was still being used and I couldn't say anything about it. It was a lot. I'm glad I'm elsewhere now. My husband had the flu in February. Rumor around his work was that he had the coronavirus and I gave it to him cause I worked with the first infected patient in my county. I never was sick. I don't work in the same city as the first infected and I have no idea who she is. The rumor kept getting more and more crazy every day. Wow, sounds like the rumor spread like a virus. Don't worry, even I'm downvoting my comment. When I was 13 there was a rumor spreading around that I was born in Iraq, used to live in Moscow, and was a die-hard gay communist that wanted to run for president and pass a law that everyone was required to have gay sex with me. Dang, your 8th grade class was well versed in controversial geopolitics. Someone was spreading a rumor that I didn't have my license, wasn't allowed to drive. I had been licensed for years and was regularly seen driving work vehicles around property. On top of that, it was even one of my job duties to drive a 26-foot box truck up a winding mountain pass about twice a week for supplies and was seen in it a lot. Never figured out who started it. Not me, but there was a kid from my hometown that a rumor started about him having sex with a cat, and someone then saw kittens running around with a similar face to his. I should note we were about 9 years old. Holy crap, I just laughed so hard at this. In elementary school, people thought I had ordered an assassination on another student. In elementary school we had reading buddies, so kids in grade 3 would help kids in grade 1 read. I was in grade 3 and was helping out this feisty redhead called C. Now C was known for being a troublemaker and generally rebellious, and never being nice to anyone. But after a while I guess I grew on her and she actually ended up being a really sweet girl. From then on I was known as the only person who could calm C down, and the only one she would listen to. Then one day, C decided to throw a massive rock at another girl's head, H, who was in grade 4. H ended up getting a concussion and was taken to the hospital. Then the rumors started. As the only person who C would listen to, I was told by some of my friends that people started to think that I told C to throw that rock. I had no idea who H even was, but I suspect the person who started the rumors was H's younger sister who hated me for another reason. After a few disastrously bad relationships in college, high school for you US folks, I decided I was gay, actually bi, and was quite vocal about it when I got to uni, college in the US. A teen girl moved to the area where I went to uni and was already 3 months pregnant when she moved there and obviously had never met anyone there. She told everyone that I was the baby's father and somehow people believed it. Even after the baby was born, people believed that the loudly gay black man had somehow had a blonde white baby. Gonna get buried and slightly off prompt, but in middle school I ended up hanging around these two boys for a few months. I always had a way of finding myself in the group with the weird kids, like-minded I suppose. But anyway, one of the boys actually would talk about how he'd been in prison. Changed to Juvie when I asked questions. I mentioned it possibly offhanded to a few acquaintances, the way you do as a kid with information and no processing skills. Then one day after some school event, I'm with my mom and little sister when we are approached aggressively by this random woman dragging my weird friend with her. She asks me to stop spreading rumors that her son had been to Juvie. My mom looked very confused and unsure of where to direct and anger that was developing. I said something along the lines of okay, but he told me he had been, as if he made me spread the rumor. I think that wasn't what she expected, cause she quickly assured my son has never been in trouble with the law and ran off dragging my embarrassed friend away. Mom didn't want me hanging around him anymore. I then started hanging out with a girl who swore she was dating an older guy who sometimes was a werewolf. I sure know how to pick them. In 6th grade, a rumor went around my school that I saw Beyoncé at the mall. I didn't even go to the mall that weekend. Still, people kept asking me about it. That I fancied this guy. I genuinely didn't. I was just being polite to him cause he was a nice guy. The guy I actually liked, I fought with all the time and pretended I hated. Isn't this the plot of Hey Arnold? One of my guy friends told our whole friend group that not only I had slept with him but also another girl in our friend group had also slept with him. We were both virgins. Luckily my ex from that friend group had a new girlfriend that not only let us both know what he had been saying but also stood up for us both. The guy quickly became embarrassed when he was called out and left early that night. I was raised Christian and so was all about purity. Got the purity ring. Not only did I pledge to save sex till marriage, but kissing and anything sexual too. I'm a guy but had a few female friends in high school, and at one point senior year guys would go up to me about one of my friends and ask, so I heard you hit that. How was it? Really surprised me since people knew how religious I was. I didn't even curse. So it really threw me off that people thought I was sleeping around because I chatted with a girl. That the scars left from stitches that got infected from a mole biopsy on my forearm, around what was left of the mole, were from shooting up heroin. No clue who started that one, but they really made my life crappy for a couple of weeks. That I got married because my bully got married. I deadass looked at my theater teacher like, are you freaking kidding me? Then her sister said, aren't you also the one who threatened her with a knife in catering? I wasn't able to respond before we had to do something else, but I wish I cold told her no. It was another girl who threatened her. BC your sister joked about throwing my project in the trash and laughed at me cutting my thumb open. It makes my blood boil even now. There was a guy who I had previously worked with that was in town visiting. The same week he was in town, my dog knocked me over and I hyperextended my knee. It got all swollen and I couldn't walk on it for a couple of days, so I had been calling into work. When I got back to work, everyone told me they figured I had called in because I was off having sex with ex-coworker and I had hurt my leg from all the crazy sex we were having. I told him about the rumor and we had a good laugh. That I was contagious because I have eczema, asthma and allergies. One girl threw open a door while I was changing at a sleepover to show all the other kids I had sores. She was a huge bully who pretended to be my friend but constantly did stuff like this to me. I ended up being homeschooled due to the bullying. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.